think this, is that the lightning one? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. I think this is the lightning one. Is that it? Oh, let's see. Lightning one, is this it? I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping that's charging. I'm hoping that's charging, y'all. Oh, let's turn it that way. I don't know who's in. Let me see who's in. I don't know who's in. Let me know if y'all can hear me, okay? Can y'all hear me? Oh, crap. I hope it's charging, y'all. I've got it on the charger. So I hope it's charging. I'm outside. Let's see if I can see y'all on here. And YouTube. And switch over to the other channel so I can see it. See if we see it. I can see if I can hear from here. And switch over. Yep, I can hear it. All right, who's in here? Hey, Culinary, what's up, baby? I got you on the tablet down here because this thing, the chat don't stay up on it. I can hear myself, so I'm presuming y'all can hear me too. Give me a 1 or something in the chat to let me know y'all can hear me. Y'all see, I have had a zit. I've never had a zit in my life, and now I have a mark. And I let it go until I couldn't let it go no more. What's up, everybody? Let me know y'all. Okay, Culinary says she can hear me. Yep. I'm outside in the garden. I'm gonna get out here and work. I got on here a little late, so thanks for joining me. If you come in, give us a like, thumbs up, share it out. I think we got a good little topic today. A friend of mine posted something, and I'm gonna talk about it. How you doing, Culinary? What's the weather like where you at? Culinary, are you in Florida? I don't know why I was thinking Florida. Are you the one in Florida? I don't know, but it might be people. I'm going to talk about it anyway. It don't matter because it self-records and uploads. Let me know if you're in Florida. I can't remember where you at. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see who chimes in because I was late coming on. We only been on for like 3 minutes so people can get notifications. It said, well, I guess I'm the second person in here. Yeah, my friend is in West Palm. She said it was cold out there. I talked to her yesterday, my best friend, and she said it's cold in Florida. But y'all got that winter storm coming through. It's going to hit Texas, and it's going all the way up from Texas. I think from Texas over all the way up. And y'all still getting heavy winter weather. It's cool here, but we've been between 70 and whatever. My little cilantro plant is doing good. I bought this at, where did I get it at? I got it at Home Depot. And I planted it, and he's doing good. The mint's doing good, too, because I got 2 mints. My next petty, I'm going to go get some more live plants, or I might order them, because you can order them, and they'll deliver to the house. I want to get some chocolate mint. That's the one I want to get, but I may have to go through, what's the name of that company? Etsy, because I was having a hard time finding the chocolate mint plants. I used to have one. I love mint. Mint's a weed. But mint grows, and I love mint in my tea, but you can make, like, chocolate mint. You can take chocolate mint and put it in. Make your own ice cream. Since I'm lactose intolerant, it's a good way to do ice cream. But yeah, I'm waiting. I put some of the herbs in here. I don't know if those seeds, some of those seeds might be old. So we'll see if they take off or not. If they do, they do. If they don't, then I'll buy some other seeds. I got oregano, chives, basil. I did just put in culantro, which is like a leafy version of cilantro. They said it's stronger. I've never used it. My tomato plants, my tomato indigo rose cherry. I got two that popped. I put two seeds in these little things. Two that popped. My black creme tomatoes, I see, I think both of those, at least one, maybe two popped over there. I had done some lettuce, nothing ever popped in there, so I'm going to end up using that for something different. Um, I got one that's empty. I think that's going to end up being corn, squash, the Three Sisters. I'll put that in there. Um, I'm going to do some longs. The longs are the Asian, like string beans. I like those. I want to get the purple ones. I only have the green ones right now, but I know last year I didn't get, the ants were eating up them. When that flower would bloom, the freaking ants were being there. So I got to find something to fight ants if they come back. But I'm going to mix some dirt today. I've got to empty out these other ones from the old dirt. And I'm going to be mixing it today. And working on that. So we got some stuff we're doing. Cause I got some webs. I don't like webs. I don't know who your friend is, but he got to go. Who all is in here today? Hey, Wendy, what's up? How you doing? Sorry about your son, baby. I usually make my own ice cream. I have a little ice cream maker in there. So I haven't done it in a while. But I usually just use coconut milk. And now that they got oat milk out, I'm probably going to switch to oat milk because oat milk is so creamy. It's going to be great for ice cream. So yeah, it's creamy. I'm going to have them come fix this curtain next payday too. I'm going to hire, Linda has a little ladder, but Laura, my friend Laura, sent me something of a company that you can just go onto the app and look for different people. And I found one I was right in my budget range. And they will come and work on your, they'll come and work on your whatever projects you have. So mounting, fixing stuff, house cleaning, all sorts of stuff. And you just got to pay them, and then you pay them by the hour. So what I need him to do, this ain't going to take an hour. And then I got some wood that we had gotten from the smoker place. And the pecan, the logs are too long for my smoker. So I'm going to, if he said he had at least on the advertisement for him, he has a saw. So I'm going to have him electric saw those in half. Yeah, so that'll work. And have him do that. But yeah, I'm out here right now and probably going to just get some more planners done. But like I said, right now, I also put in the pink accordion. Nothing popped on it. Tomato stripe Roman. Nothing has popped on it. So we'll see if those pop. I'm going to plant some more tomato stuff today. And probably a few other ones. And then I got some new catalogs I'm going to go through. Who else is on here? So I got Culinary, I got Wendy. All right, well, y'all are in here. We done waited 8 minutes, so let's get into a topic. And if anybody joined, give it a like, thumbs up, share it out. And hello, whoever. We got 4 people in here, so somebody else is in here. They just ain't talking. So today, this morning, I got up and I post my little prayer stuff for my prayer team. And I do it through several mediums. I even put it on the community board here because we have Christian folks on this channel as well. And okay. And so we have different folks on here as well. So I posted there, Facebook. One of the comments that I saw this morning, and I'm on Facebook. I'm not on there as much as I was before because Facebook is kind of, yeah, that's how I feel about it now. It's like, yeah. I think there's a lot of younger stuff, and the older you start getting, the less it becomes anything I want to do. And then a lot of times I see people on there, and I don't try to be a buzzkill or be a negative Nelly, but I'm a realist. I'm very much a person who's into reality. I'm not one of those people who, I see this with a lot of the new ministry. Or actually not even necessarily new, a lot of the mega ministries. You're going to be a winner and you're going to be blessed and you're going to be highly favored. But they don't want to deal with all the reality of everything going on. And it's not to say that those things that I want to be all in a negative, I'm not. I'm just a realist. I see things in reality. And I do see the need to have self-worth and have self-value, but I believe that so many people put that so high above that they focus there. And to do that, they'll feed that however they need to, okay? And they feed it sometimes to a detriment, okay? Let me give you an example. So she had said, this is kind of what sparked this today for me. In her feed, she was talking about she's bought property out in New Mexico. So she's traveling from here to New Mexico, and she's checking out the state, and she does kind of like a semi-van life thing. She's created a little conversion in her crossover where she can sleep, her dog can be, she can cook without having to pay for hotel stays. So she's trying to do it as cheap as possible. I'm feeling you. We're there. I lived off a truck for a while, although I didn't save very much money half the time, because a lot of times the companies I was working for, they didn't have refrigerators on the truck. They didn't have, you couldn't idle the truck. So even if they had a refrigerator, it was kind of like, that's a moot point, because if you don't have it where it's an electric idle, and you cut the truck off at a certain time, they, oh, well, don't open your refrigerator. Dude, your stuff's going to spoil. The ones who didn't have refrigerators, you had the coolers. The coolers, they don't keep food for so long. And then if you couldn't idle the truck and it got to a certain temperature, the cooler kept the food at just like 40 degrees cooler than what the inside temperature was of the vehicle. Again, you're not going to be able to keep certain food. It's going to go bad rather quickly. So those things don't work if you don't have a certain temperature in the truck. So that's just the honesty. You might be able to keep some drinks and stuff. You might be able to keep a sandwich for a minute, but you're going to end up spending money eating out. So a lot of times, some of the companies I work for, I didn't save a lot of money, because your expensive just to eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner was high. Okay. And they don't care, because that's not their goal. Their goal is their freight, and that's what they mainly care about. Well, anyway, today she said she went on her road trip, and she made the comment, which it kind of took me back, but I thought it was funny at the same time. And hold on. Okay, let's make sure, because the phone, if it gets too hot, it will cut off. And I'm sitting in the sun, y'all. I'm chocolate. I don't need to sit in the sun. I'm sitting in the sun, y'all. I'm chocolate, and I don't need to sit in the sun. So she made the comment that, and I'm moving, y'all. Y'all see me moving. I had to move the chair. Let me see if I turn it this way. Y'all see me. And I'll show y'all where the garden's at. I've got little things popping. Carrots are looking better. I just got fertilized last week. She made the comment that, the media is lying, that, people are still traveling, and they had these big trucks and they were traveling, yada, yada, yada. And, people, they're making up this stuff, and, the fuel cost is not stopping people from traveling. And I sat and laughed. While I get kind of what she's saying, because a lot of people want to be anti-media, and I don't know what media outlet she's watching. The media, from what I saw, they really haven't lied. They've told you that people are taking vacations. They told you people are traveling. They told you what the fuel costs they are. But I haven't heard any, at least the media I watch, NBC, PBS, some overseas stuff. Nobody's really saying that Americans aren't traveling. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are saying we're traveling, we're taking vacations, we're spending an exorbitant amount of money. Some of them are saying it's due to the psychology of what happened with COVID, that people are burnt out and people feel like they deserve a vacation, yada, yada, yada. Now, the news media that I think PBS was saying, one of them talked about budget conscious, and she said, it may be better for you to do staycations, meaning find something around your state and just stay home and maybe go to a venue that way and a vacation away from your house. That's logical. It's sensible. It makes sense, okay? So some of them have said things like that. But she's like, these people are driving the big trucks, and they're not big rigs, but she's talking about, big trucks and non-fuel efficient cars, and they're still traveling. Yes. Yes, they will. I'm going to share something with you. One of them said that there were people spending like $400 some plus to travel. Okay? $400 plus to travel. I'm going to share some keys to the kingdom that will help you about the psychological mindset of Americans, or the appearance of things. So most of you guys know, some of you actually know where I work, Wendy. I work for a company that does car loans. And my job, well, they deal with cars and car loans. So my job, as well as my friend who referred me, we deal with people who um, they're buying cars. I gotta laugh. And our tax season is the busiest season. Now, this is my first tax season with them because I started with them back in May of last year. My friend who's been here, she's been here about almost 3 years, and she's been through 2 tax seasons, and she's like, girl, I made hand over fist because they didn't have enough people. Well, now they're not offering overtime because I think they've overhired, but I think they're overhiring because they're getting ready to plan to make people come back in, and there's a lot of people who will be like, I'm going to go find another job somewhere else. I don't want to work back in an office. Because a lot of people have found working from home is very convenient. And now also with the fuel prices, it makes sense. Plus, COVID's not over. But you've got people that are trying to force COVID to be over because they're burnt out on it. And I also believe corporations, a lot of times the ones who want you back in an office, it justifies upper management jobs. So I want to watch you. I want to, you really don't need as much management if you have people who are doing their core job, okay? A person, one supervisor could manage 2, maybe 3 teams of worker from home people who are performing. You don't need people to manage that, to watch that. But folks want to justify position salary, so something to do. So I think that's a lot more about the companies where they're forcing people to come back into an office. That's really unnecessary. It justifies their jobs because if we didn't need those people to come back in those office, there's a lot of in-office jobs you don't really need. You don't need secretaries or receptionists. You don't need certain upper management. If people are performing self-driven, self-doing their job, you don't need as many supervisors. You may need one supervisor to manage 2 or 3 teams. And that's really more of attendance basis, maybe some other things, and maybe what you need is a special group that maybe helps with questions and answers and things like that. But you don't really need the management that you have, except for when you go into an office. Then you need somebody to sit there and watch people, right? So she was sitting there and she's saying, hey, you got these people driving, they're still doing this, and the media's lying. The media, in my opinion, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what she's watching, but the media's not lying. Not on this part. They're giving you the facts. This is where the fuel is. This is where the goal is that it may go. It may go up to $7, $10 a gallon based on what, and I'm going to say now the government might be lying, what the government is touting and telling us about the situation in Ukraine. Like I said, I'm still struggling with why 3% of the fuel coming from Russia causes almost a 50% hike in fuel. I'm struggling with that. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm also struggling why this is now a main focus of a fuel price increase. I personally think it's a greed issue. I think that the fuel companies and whoever handles fuel, I think they're being greedy, and it's a way to make money off of a very bad situation. And it is also going to trickle down to maybe even justify the inflation that the government can't control that was going to happen regardless, the inflation and hyperinflation. So I believe it's a justification. That's just me. I could be wrong. That's my view. So when she said this, I start to think. And me and my best friend had this talk. Her husband was a postman out in Florida. And he worked in some of the hoodie neighborhoods. I'm just going to be honest. His neighborhoods were rough. But he grew up in a rough area of Florida, so he was able to handle it as a postman. He just recently retired. And he would tell her that normally they would see, whenever people would get the income tax or tax checks and refunds, he saw rims, he saw new cars or cars that they didn't have, and he saw furniture. Those were the big things. Let me tell you what I see working at this company I'm at now. And I'm going to tell you the story of my friend who referred me. She just told me a recent story. I had a young little girl, her and her partner. They called me. They moved from Illinois to, I think, the Bay Area, California. She's trying to do a little self-business, and she's also, we kind of got in a side conversation, very nice. She's running a little truck, and her little partner are driving trucks, okay? And not the big trucks, like, I think it's more like, probably like the FedEx stuff, okay? The little, the little combination trucks. And so they're doing that. Plus, she's, these young people. I got a recording studio, and she has a business. I pray that her business goes well for her. Some of it is, I just think is like, okay, they don't want traditional jobs. They want to be Beyonce and Jay-Z and all that other craziness. So she got $6,400, and I could tell from the tax return that was sent that that's where the money, because we asked for 2 years of tax returns, that's where the money came from. Okay, what car do y'all think she was buying? You think she is buying a Honda, a Toyota, a Hyundai, something that was more probably affordable? $6,400 in the case of she could have probably bought a car cash from a private owner. Okay, that's just honesty. It's honesty. Instead, she went for a Mercedes, beautiful car, and put $6,400 down towards it with payments, I think, of $500 to $700, close to $600 some dollars a month for the payments. Okay, you're trying to start a new business, very young, but it's not only young people; it's old people too, because appearance is everything to some people. It's not about what's reality. It's not about, oh, this was my favorite car. And a lot of times, and it's funny because I was watching a young lady, and she said she went to one of those, those MLM, multi-level marketing, with a friend. And they're, doing what they call dream building. And the people are telling what their dream cars are. And when they got to her, she said, they asked her what kind of car, and she said, Mercedes. And he said, well, what type? And she says, I'd never thought about it. I just knew that Mercedes was the car that everybody wanted. Not what she wanted, but that everybody else supposedly wanted. See, it was that name brand fancy car that wealthy people drive. So if I get that, I'm important. And that's the car I should have, because that's what everybody else looks at as a privileged type, title type car. Okay. And I got friends of mine right now. I got several friends. I got one who has an Audi, one who has very expensive utility type vehicle. And I don't know if that was their dream car or not, but I do know it's also about status. Love them both, but I know it's a status car. Okay. The other one, she's getting ready to move from the Audi to, I think she said she wants oh my God, not a Maybach. I forgot what it is. Oh my God, I can see it in my head. I just forgot the name of it. Anyway, it's a very expensive car, okay? She's a flight attendant. Love her dearly. But I know it's about status. Matter of fact, that young lady, when I first met her, she had moved out here to Arizona with a boyfriend. When she would come into, we worked for the bank together, we worked for Chase. When that girl would come in, she'd be clean as a fish, wearing suits that were $300-$400 suits that she had bought from Spiegel, because it was about appearance. When you went to her house, she didn't have a bed, she didn't have a couch, she didn't have a chair. They were in an apartment and they were sleeping on the floor. But when they stepped out that apartment, clean as a fish. She didn't even have a car. She walked to the bank, but clean as a fish. $300-$400 outfits. Sue Zorman kind of dealt with this, and I loved it when she did in her earlier books, about how you're appearing to look as if, and you're wasting money to impress other people. There was a truck driver on here. I can't remember his name right now. And something bit me. There was a truck driver on here, and I can't remember his name off the bat, but I remember the conversation. He interviewed with another truck driver, and he was telling the story of, he had 2 cars, him and his wife. And he was living off the truck because they were in debt, and he was working his butt off. I think his first name was Jason. Oh my God, what was he? He had a trucking channel. He's not in trucking anymore. He's divorced and got remarried, and his wife he's with now is into real estate, and he does something with trading. But it's Jason. I think it was Jason. Interviewed by a truck driver, and it was just straight wisdom. He said, oftentimes people buy their cars not for themselves, but for other people. He said, I was paying for this car. It was sitting at the terminal. He said, so I sold the car. I could apply that money to my bills and get out of debt quicker. I was on the road. We had at least 1 car. And when I got home, I was only home for a few days. And I was back out over the road for several months. Then I'd come home and do the same thing again. What he realized realized was to get himself out of debt, sometimes we're looking and getting things in order to impress other people. So let me go back to her comment. Yes, you're going to see people on the road in these big trucks, and you're going to see them on the car, and they might not financially be able to afford it. What's up, Jaden baby? They might not be able to afford what they're doing, but they're doing it for the appearance. This apartment I live in is $700 a month. When I got here, it was $665. It's not fancy. It's not the shiny nickel. But I went out to this friend who wrote this, and I went over there to handle some business yesterday. And here's what was priceless. I talked to one of the neighbors. He says, yeah, I'm getting ready to move up to Camp Verde because it's cheaper for me to live up there because they just raised our rent to $1,300 a month. Not a fancy apartment. It was okay. It's better. I mean, it's better looking in the grand scheme than where I'm at here. But this is a decent apartment. It's not bad. It's block, brick. I'm talking about that right now. It's block. It's brick. It's not fancy. I got all concrete. I mean, all tile floors. I got a shower. I got a toilet. It's a 1-bedroom. I can wash my behind. There's nothing fancy about it. But I really don't care what people think. A lot of people right now are gauging things off of appearance, even in the madness, as Jaden just said, of the fuel crisis. Okay? This fuel situation is going to get worse. And it's not only going to affect what you spend just driving, it's going to affect your food cost, your prices of getting merchandise. I don't have a couch yet. I need to get a couch. I have a bed. I have a desk. I actually have 2 desks. I have a chair to sit at my desk and do my job. I haven't gotten a couch because it hasn't really been an important need. And I was looking at a day bed. I'm like, okay, I may do this day bed thing, right? The day bed I wanted was through World Market Cost Plus. I just looked. It was just under $400, around $400 last year. That's just the frame. That's not even the mattress. I went to look this year. It's almost $50 now, $100 and some dollars more, $150 more. And the shipping costs last year were $49. This year's $80, $79. 40%, $40 more dollars extra. So almost a 50% hike in price just to ship it. And then $150 more for me to buy it. Shannon went to Amazon. I found one $2.99. So that brings it down, what, $200 some dollars cheaper? Almost $200 some dollars or more cheaper, including because I'm a Prime member, my shipping costs are free. Sturdy, metal, good rating. That's what I'm getting. Because I don't care about appearance of things when it comes to what other people think. I'm going to get what works for my budget. But it's taken some time because this wasn't always me. I'm pretty much always been, I'm going to get what I get. And what I thought was cool was that of a geek. I'm a geek. But there's so many people who are buying vehicles. I deal with them every day in order to impress other people. That's what you see out here on the road. And that's why people are willing to pay $100 and $400 and $200 for fuel. That's why you go into the hood where my friend said her husband used to go, and the first thing he saw as a postman when they would get their tax returns was rims, new furniture being delivered, rental furniture. That was another one. Just dumb stuff because it's a poverty type mindset. It's a mindset that I want to feel important, even though I'm not. I don't mean to be mean. It's just reality. So people are willing to pay exorbitant amounts of money to look cool, grumpy. Let's use grumpy. And I just recently found out some things about Grumpy. Grumpy, when he sold his union contract out, when he got to retire, they had set up annuities for people in one of these union contracts where they sold it and they bought out the contract. Something happened, but they bought out the contract. And buying out the contract, everybody under that union contract got an annuity set up for them when they retired. At retirement, and this is on top of their regular pension, he was given an annuity for $100 and close to $40,000, $140,000. He bought the car he had that he didn't take care of. He bought that. And he went and through $140,000, he ate out all the time. He bought $400 Stacy Adams clothes and shoes from a little ghetto place so he could look pretty. He initially wanted to buy a $60,000 sports car so he could look pretty and pull it up to a slumlord apartment. It's a ghetto mentality. And I don't mean to be mean, but it's a ghetto mentality. When he died, we had nothing to put him in the dirt with. No life insurance policy that we get a hold of. The only one was some $2,000 policy from the credit union, where that's all up in the air. Nothing to put him in the ground. Zero. Nothing written down and nothing other than that. Because it was all about here, now, and being showy. And at the end of your death, you had nothing. His friend said, one of the closest best friend, he said, Shannon, I'm not understanding where your dad's money went. He says he didn't have anything to show for it. Exactly. He said he wasn't someone who had a home. He didn't, have big electronics. Where was the money going? He ate out all the time. He had shoes and clothes that were fancy so he could look pretty and somebody could tell him he looked good, because it was all about the self-centered of me. I'm going to tell you another story. When I worked for Schwab, me and Joe and some other ones, we used to have to deal with, they were retiring out of software, and we were transferring people over to Quicken to monitor their money until they got a trading software up. So in doing that, to transfer their portfolio over, people would have us working on it, and they wanted that stuff to the penny, okay? Let me tell you, those people who were anal, we used to think, oh, they buttholes. Oh, my God. But I'm going to say something. Now, being 53 years old, that's wisdom. Those people watch their money, and a lot of the ones that were watching it to the penny, multi-millionaires. They weren't out here just being shady. They were multi-millionaires. Schwab told a story of one of the customers who came in, and he came in overalls, a t-shirt, and some boots. Dude was stupid wealthy. I mean, stupid, filthy wealthy. He went to different brokerage firms and to see how he was going to be treated. He ended up at Schwab, where they treated him like a person, and they didn't judge him on how he appeared. And the amount of money that man transferred into Schwab, they said, was astronomically cray-cray. Okay? He was financially wealthy. He had several properties from a lot of trailer parks that he owned, retirement centers, owned a lot. Dude had money. A simple man. And he told them, he says, I dress this way for a reason. He says, I didn't get my money the easy way, I earned it. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't go into a place that looked at my appearance to dictate how they were going to treat me, and that they looked at me as a person. Oftentimes, the appearance of things is how people want to be seen. The car you drive, the shoes you wear, the name brand stuff, and you're going to be sitting right up in out situations. I'm going to tell y'all a recent story I just found out about Grumpy, and take this to the bank. I talked to one of the ladies. Monty was supposedly Christian. I believe he was. He had his issues. And he was an avid tither. When we tithe, because we believe the Lord blesses us with our finances, so we give back so that money can be used for ministering to other people, whether that be through food ministry, clothing ministry, ministering to their soul, their psychological issues, whatever it is, we give back to an institution, a Christian type institution. I do my tithing to an institution that deals with a lot of the homeless, deals with a lot of people who may be coming out of jail or prison, maybe dealing with drug rehabilitation. That's not something I've ever gotten into where I've had drug issues, but I have friends who've had alcoholism issues. Gets into people who are displaced because they've lost jobs, they have children, or they were in bad domestic situations. So I donate to a ministry who does that. That's where I tithe to, okay? So that's what I do. Well, Monty was tithing to his local church, which most people do, okay? And he was tithing on a regular basis. This lady would pick up his tithe because when he could no longer control his urine and he was tinkling on himself, he didn't want to go to church in case he tinkled on himself, but also he didn't want to wear the right proper gear to go to church, because he should have worn a different type of pull-up or diaper, of adult diapers, okay? But he didn't want to do that because he wanted the ones that looked like male underwear, which was another thing, again, all about. So I'm not even going to go to church because I can't appear as if, you know, I'm this and I'm that. Okay. Even though he, to the most part, I mean, crazy runs in his family, but even though he had more of a right mind than most, he knew his name, he knew who he was, he didn't have Alzheimer's, he wasn't senile. But for him, appearance was everything. Okay. So, and I'm going to do it my way. That's another thing with money or with appearance. She said, just recently, I mean, just within the last week and a half, I talked to her. I think it was last Sunday. Last Sunday, I talked to her. And I didn't sleep good all night after talking to this woman because it really just set with me funny. She said, Shannon, I've been thinking about your father. And she said, she called him her best friend. She just loved him. And she said, I've been thinking about Reverend Smith. And she said, Shannon, she says, you said some things to me and I didn't realize until just recently. Your father was hungry. I want y'all to hear this. I just told you $140,000. That man brought $3,500 or more home every month. There would have been no reason. His room was about like mine, and he had utilities included. I don't have utilities included. There's no reason this man should have been hungry. Zero. I don't want to cook. I ain't going to cook. I don't want to. Number one. Smoked cigarettes and didn't even smoke the full cigarette. Smoke half the cigarette and dump it in a good bottle of water. He bought bottled water, would pour the good bottle of water out halfway, take the half a bottle of good drinkable water, and just pour it down the drain. Soap, this big bars, this thick, ivory. Use it a couple times, maybe 3 or 4 baths. It was too small, and throw it away. That's something psychological. I realized after meeting the other family, there was some crazy stuff that went in his family. There's some mental issues. She said to me several months ago, and I don't know, within the last year of his life, he stopped tithing. He couldn't afford it anymore because his lifestyle of eating out was more important. His lifestyle of all the bling was more important. His lifestyle of all the clothes was more important. All that was more important, the appearance. And then at the end, you cannot appear as if. You can't. She said, Shannon, he stopped tithing. She said the only thing he was doing like $5 or $10. She said, and then also he called me and had told me if I had any leftover food when I cook, don't throw it away, save it for him. I said, When I got to that house, I noticed he used to have coin buckets. They were empty. So he was living off coins. Okay? There were fast food bags from McDonald's in the front seat, which tells me because I refuse to cook for myself, I'm going to go down here to McDonald's and I'm going to get whatever that little $1, $2 meal is because that's affordable, especially if I'm struggling, okay? Not struggling because I'm in a situation where I'm struggling, but struggling because I refuse to do anything different other than be me, okay? I'm going to do it my way, cut nose off, spite face. He tells her, oh, save this food for me. Then he shows up at this woman's house, and I'm going to really break this down for you. Tells her, oh, you just told us that we could stop by on Sunday when you got out of church and pick up a plate. She said, Reverend Smith, I never told you that. If I saw you at church back when you came to church and I knew I was going to cook a big meal, I would have a plate. I didn't cook this Sunday. We went and ate. I just got home. But if you're hungry, I'll fix you a plate. And he sat there and waited for this woman to, let me help you out with something. This lady is like a lot of Americans. She's on Social Security. I don't know if she's bringing about $600, maybe $1,200 at the most. Her father died. There was money left over. She bought the house she's in Lubbock. But she's on a fixed income for Social Security. I believe she's also on food stamps. And my sorry father, God forgive me, I'm keeping it 100, refused to cook a meal for himself. Even if you don't want to cook, TV dinners, you can get TV dinners for cheap. Refused to go to the grocery store and get a TV dinner because he wanted women to cook for him and he wanted certain things. He, called this woman who's on a fixed income to make him meals for free because he would not change his pattern for appearance sake of how he spent his money. There's wisdom and there's foolishness. Let me help you. Americans, we are a very self-indulged and an entitled society, even down to the poorest among us. We do some of the dumbest stuff with money. I mean, just absolutely stupid. And I've been guilty. But there's some that's on a level that is insanity. So, yes, you're going to see people driving in these big trucks, flossing. You're going to see them buying these cars like I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing the income returns, and I'm seeing people, you make $15 an hour, and you're trying to buy a Mercedes, a BMW, a Lexus, all these major name brand cars so you can roll up to some ghetto place. I even see where people live, and I'm just like, but it's all about appearance. The same as my friend who would come into the bank in $300 outfits. I didn't see Jade. Oh, Jaden, okay. It went $300 outfits and come into the Chase building looking like she just stepped out of Spiegel catalog. And when you went to her apartment, she didn't have a chair, she didn't have a couch, she didn't have a car, she didn't have a bed. They were sleeping on sheets with a blanket on the floor and some pillows. And we're not talking, even when she moved out, she didn't have much furniture. Because of appearance. It's a ghetto mindset. She was younger then, she's different now. She's a flight attendant now, and she does make good money now. So yeah, if you want to go buy a nice vehicle that you want, and this is the car you want, but my question behind the things we do, are you doing it for you? That guy who interviewed, he says oftentimes we're buying our cars for other people. Absolutely. We're buying it so somebody can tell you you look pretty in your car. He was going to buy a $60,000 sports vehicle to pull up to a ghetto behind apartment complex to drive in a city that's 15 minutes edge of town so people could tell him he looked pretty in his car. And at the end of your life, the last year of your life, you're sponging off a woman who is making probably $600 to $1,200 a month and on food stamps in order to make ends meet and to survive in her retirement ages, and you're sponging and you're bringing 3 to 4 times what this woman brings in because I want to. It just set on me so sick. I feel sorry for him because I know mentally he's crazy, but also I felt sorry for him because you allowed yourself to get to that point and you could never see. Somebody said in one of the last videos we did, and I can't remember, I may say it backwards. He says it's easier to look out the rear view mirror than to look front, something like that. It was easier to look front mirror instead of look the rear view in order to take a good inspection of ourselves. So it's easier to look at everything else than to take a good inspection of ourselves. It's really the ultimate thing that this person was saying. I got up this morning, another person, she put on there, praise God, I'm a winner, and all this positive. And there's nothing wrong with being positive. I'm not trying to be negative. And God wants me to have this, that, and the other thing. Possibly, and I'm not saying he doesn't want you to do well. But when you focus on only that and you don't focus on any areas of correction, of growth, there's a problem. Because we are basically broken people who aren't perfect. What can I do to be better? And I'm not saying that's the only focus. Yes, you have some positives and God will bless you along the journey, but he also grows us. The Bible says he chastises who he loves. That means he corrects us. So that means I'm not perfect. I've got a relative of mine and they've got kids, and everything, she never says anything. There's nothing bad about her kids. They're winners. They're the best. And what's going to happen if she is telling these kids that, the same thing that happened to Grumpy, is you have set your kids up for a very hard fall in life because you're not perfect and you're not the best. And you're just not. You might be a good kid on the grand scheme of things, but only thing perfect in this life is God. None of us are perfect. All of us have issues. I don't care who you are. America's biggest issue is we're self-entitled and we're self-indulged. So people are going to get out here and they're going to pay $5 and $6 a gallon for gas and still be trying to do this. The wisest ones I'm dealing with right now are ones that saying, hey, yeah, I'm trading this truck in. I'm in California, we're paying 5 something a gallon, and I'm going hybrid, I'm going electric. I can't do this. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. It's not about appearance. It's about doing a better job managing the blessing of money that you may have and preparing for the things that are about to happen. A lot of these people, and I think back to Texas, when that freeze happened, folks ain't had no food in their house. Again, same thing. We just got through the early part of the pandemic and there wasn't no toilet paper. And wasn't no rice and no beans. People didn't have basic staples in their house. They didn't have food in their house. They didn't have toilet paper in their house. We get to this part now with the freeze in Texas, and you got some of that same behavior, cut nose off, spite face. So now, when they can go, the first thing you see is this long line outside of places like Pizza Hut and stuff because people, I don't know how to cook for myself. I ain't gonna cook for myself. I'm used to fast food. I'm just gonna do fast food. I'm not saying you're not supposed to enjoy life. I'm not saying you're not supposed to get out and do some things. But I am saying you need to use some wisdom and some reality. So, yeah, you're going to see people on the street in big cars and big trucks because, again, that's self-entitled Americans. I'm going to do it my way. Even to cut nose off, spite my face. Even if it costs me a whole bunch of damn money, I'm going to do it my way. Welcome to America. It ain't changed. Go overseas. First thing we're looking for is a Burger King and a Jack in the Box. Craziness. It's absolute craziness. Anyway, y'all, that's my rant today. And if you do watch this, share it out. I didn't give a good warning that this was going to happen. I hope that you all are having a blessed day. But we got to use wisdom. And I hope that hopefully this will help you. I just did a Christian video on this. Use wisdom and don't purchase things to impress other people. Do things what's best for your budget and what's wise. And right now, you guys need to be watching money. And you need to make sure your house is stocked up with stuff. What's happening with fuel, it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And it's not only going to affect you driving your vehicles back and forth, it's going to affect your prices in the fuel in the stores because things get transported via plane, train, an automobile, which is a truck. If those prices are going up there, they're going to relay them back to everybody else. And whoever's being greedy, it's going to impact the chain because that's what it does. Quick thing, Ukraine, they're a major exporter of, from what I've just read recently, of fertilizer. Fertilizer helps with growing food and other things, but food especially. If they're exporting, and I don't know if I think it was America or the world, I can't remember, 75% for food, that's going to affect prices for fertilizer. It might affect production of food, and that's going to affect you affording food in the grocery store. There's a reason I'm out here in this garden. Oh, I'll show y'all this before I'm done. There's a reason I'm out here today. Because I want to make sure that my summer garden starts going, and I want to make sure I get everything set up. Because from here on out, I will always be growing some food on a regular basis. It doesn't make sense. Cilantro is rather cheap. I was paying 2 for like $1 a bunch at the store. It don't last very long. Whereas doing it this way, I come out here to this plant, I cut off what I need, I make my salsa, cook with it, whatever I want to make, I can cut it off the plant. Oregano, basil, I'm trying to get some chives going. It's the same mentality with that stuff. But you got to take the time to deal with this. And some people, like I said, they're not there. They want to stay in the foolishness. Okay, do you, boo-boo. I'm not going to do it. Anyway, y'all, let me show you the garden, and then I'm going to end it. I pray y'all are having a blessed Sunday. 2 and 2. I'm going to show you the rest of this, and then I'm going to say peace out. So make sure you give us a like, thumbs up, comment below. It helps the channel. And then let me go ahead and show you the garden, and then I'm going to be gone. Oh, okay. Who is this? Jay. Okay. Okay, I didn't see you in here. Let's see. If any man be in Christ, he will be named a new creature. All things considered new. Old sins are in the past. Yeah. Yeah. Old things pass away. Yeah. It's got a different version, but yeah. Let me turn this around. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to turn this around and show y'all what the garden looks like. Okay. So right now, let me take the phone off of here. because I can move around a little bit better. So that's my cilantro plant. Behind it, I just did cilantro. I put some other stuff up, but nothing's popped yet. If y'all can see, well, it's not letting me zoom. I thought it would let me zoom. But if y'all can see, that's tomatoes, that's the black rose. I don't know, it looks like something might be peeking its head through. No, I just think that's, okay, nothing's peeking through there yet. I got some beets over there. And some beets, carrots. We got, okay, 2 tomato plants are popping right here. Sweet mint's doing good. That's supposed to be some kind of turnip, but I don't know if it's gonna do anything. This was supposed to be lettuce, but nothing popped, so I'm gonna be planting something else there. That's some carrots back there. I put some tomatoes in there too. I don't know if they'll pop. I just put the tomatoes in. This right here is the spearmint, and it's doing really good. That right there is sweet mint. It's doing okay. I mean, it's coming, but it's doing okay. This right here is supposed to be watermelon radish, but it might be, it looks like it's gonna go to seed. So I think it got too warm. It might not produce anything. So it's probably gonna go to seed. So I'm probably just gonna end up pulling it out, but I'm gonna leave it in there for now. We'll see if it does anything. I'll see if it does anything. Yeah, so, but I'm gonna get out here and mix some more dirt and get ready to plant some more stuff. I gotta pick up some more, I got y'all on the camera. I gotta pick up some more dirt because right now I got 2.5 bags. And I got some old dirt over there I'm gonna dump in here and mix. I'll mix it with some manure and stuff like that, but I'm working on it. And then, I'm gonna turn this around. So those 3, and I got 3 here and then 2 here. I'm gonna be planting some herbs in there and see how they do. I just planted rosemary, basil, Armenian cucumbers. I'm gonna go ahead and get the corn planted because we're hitting between our 70 and 80 degree weather. So I'm gonna go in there and order some new seeds, and I did have some old seeds, so some of them I'm planting. I'll plant them in smaller containers and see if they'll pop. But if not, we'll go from there. Anyway, y'all, I hope you have a blessed day. Again, for those who watch this later, like, thumbs up, and share it out. Peace out, y'all.